one concept that students often feel like they need to memorize is what's happening around the bends of meandering streams. And you really should be able to think this through. So I'm going to encourage you, instead of taking up this much brain space, memorizing what I'm about to show you, take up this much brain space and just be able to think that through. So that's what we're gonna go over now. So a meandering stream, and we're gonna go on a map view, is a stream that tends to have these curves like this. Okay, so from a map view, I'm gonna have my little curvy stream here. And so it doesn't super matter, but let's just say that water is flowing in this direction from the top of my board to the bottom of the board, something like that. Okay, so we're gonna have what are called outer and inner bends, sorry. So you can see that this would be an outer bend and then an inner bend, right? So let's just label that. Outer bend, and then this would be an inner bend. And let's think about what happens as water is traveling around that curve. And so I like to think about when you're in a race, like so it's like a track at the Olympics, let's say. And we know that they stagger the racers and the people that are on the inner curve start further back and the people that are on the outside lane, they're gonna start further ahead. And that's because if you're on the outer lane, you have to run further to make a complete lap. So you get to kind of start what looks like ahead to make the distance the same, right? So that same concept is here. If we look at this bend, the outer bend, if I start from here and I go to here, the water on the outside bend has to travel further than the water on the inside bend, right? So the outer bend, water travels further. And then here, the water travels less or shorter distance. So water travels a shorter distance. Now, what happens is the water on the outer bend wants to stay with its friend. So this, like if you think about a bar of water coming around. So instead of getting left behind, because it has to travel further, it actually has to go faster. So because it's a longer path, this is going to be faster. Just like the racer on the outside lane has to run faster to keep up, right? And then the water on the inside is going to be slower. It doesn't have to travel as fast to keep up with its little friends. And so if we think about what happens when water travels fast versus slow, if water is traveling really fast, it's going to erode into that bank. If the water travels really slow, it's going to tend to drop out all of its material, just not traveling fast enough to carry it. So if we add that to our picture, we would say that you get deposition here. And then up here, we're going to get erosion. And so then when we think about that, we can think about really what's going to happen to the path of that stream. So as it erodes into the outer bank, the stream is going to continue to cut this way. As it deposits in the inner bank, it's going to keep depositing that. So this curve is going to continue to move to the left in this picture. So hopefully that was helpful to teach you how to think that through instead of having to memorize all of that.